Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Monday, November 1st, 2021. I'm Jeremy Crosby with the director, the producer, the man, Andrew Bamlett, behind the scenes, working hard to make our lives just a little bit easier here on Talking Fitchburg. And I say ours, I really mean me. And welcome into November. Hard to believe it's November already. Feels like October, well, it's so warm, I guess, in October that made it hard to believe when you're doing all of your pumpkin and apple picking and all those fun fall activities. And then, of course, Halloween last night was just so cold. It was cold. I'm just saying it was cold. We ended up having to drive around a little bit, because the kids, they didn't only last for so long. But we filled up the buckets. They filled up the buckets in 45 minutes. Andrew, and how did your kids do? They did pretty good, right? He said they filled it up too. He said the one kid collected lots of Kit Kats. Love those Kit Kats. Yeah, a lot of interesting things. I was telling them that around our parts, and we are in I'm in a small town, a very small area, but a lot of people give out full-size candy bars. I think they feel bad because the house, we just had a bowl, like a big bowl outside. It was almost gone by the end of the night. It was crazy, but we didn't patrol it. We just put a sign on there, be kind. I said, be kind, rewind. Be kind, take what you need. Anyways, great night. Hopefully you had a fun trick-or-treating in Fitchburg, and we're glad to start this month off here. As we do every month, we'll have, for guests today, Fitchburg Senior Center, we'll talk to David Hill. For the Senior Center, it's like picks up steam in November. It always does. We'll have a breakdown of what's coming up here at the Senior Center for the month of November. Plus, we check in with Adam Dorn at Fitchburg Fire Department as this upcoming weekend, usually it comes during Halloween, but this daylight savings is happening this weekend. Fall back. But that means one or two things for you to do with your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide. We'll have all that breakdown for you here coming up in our digest. But let's get to some of the headlines we're working through today. And we start with this: who can get a booster dose of COVID-19? Yes, that's right. The eligibility expansion has happened. And we kind of talked about this last week, and I felt like we really need to go back and make sure we break this down a little bit better, because there's a lot of questions, a lot of moving parts here as far as getting a booster. So here's what we know. On October 22nd, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, that's DHS, announced its support of the CDC and FDA recommendations to expand eligibility for COVID-19 booster shots. Public Health of Madison and Dane County is now able to provide booster doses to certain people who received the Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. If you got a Moderna or Pfizer, DHS recommends a booster dose at least 6 months after receiving the second dose of the Moderna for the following groups of people. That's people 65 years or older, all residents in long-term care facility, people ages 18 or older with certain underlying medical conditions, people ages 18 and older who are at an increased risk of COVID-19 exposure and transmission because of their job or institutional settings. Occupations at increased risk for COVID-19 exposure and transmission include frontline essential workers and healthcare workers, such as first responders, education staff, food and agriculture workers, manufacturing workers, correction workers, U.S. Postal Service workers, public transit workers, and grocery store workers. If you got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, Department of Health Services is recommending a booster dose of Johnson & Johnson vaccine after at least 2 months of the initial dose for everyone ages 18 and older. There are no other requirements to receive a Johnson & Johnson booster. So don't mix that up with Pfizer or Moderna, which takes 6 months. This one is 2 months after getting your shot, which is a 1-dose shot there. So keep that in mind. All right. I think I'm eligible for a booster. What now? Well, if you are eligible to receive any of these 3 approved booster doses, reach out to your healthcare provider or schedule an appointment at one of our 3 vaccine clinics. That's at the Public Health of Madison and Dane County website, where you can schedule those to get those booster shots. And mixing and matching. Andrew and I were talking about this last week. Boosters, this is what it says. You may receive any brand of vaccine for your booster dose. You do not have to receive the same brand that you received initially as long as you meet the requirements for a booster. So keep that in mind, that those are all available. Again, more information, we'll share the link to the story, which actually has the link to signing up to get your booster shot. If you still haven't got the vaccine, that information is also available, as we'll share the link for that story. All right, Recycling Day event is happening this upcoming weekend. Make sure you get this on the calendar. It's this I feel like we've been talking about this forever, but it's this Saturday, November 6th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. All right, 3 things. It's easy. Confidential paper shredding and recycling, electronic recycling, and med drop. Bring those items. Dispose of them appropriately so they don't end up in the landfill. And of course, you can check out the brochure online, and there is the map as you come into city campus for that event. Veterans Day recognition is back this year at the Fitchburg Senior Center. With some slight modifications, the Senior Center is excited to bring back our annual Veterans Day recognition. Please join us on Thursday, November 11th at 11 a.m. in the upper level of the Community Center Senior Center as we honor those who served and are currently serving. More details on that program coming up. If you want to reserve for a meal that's paid for by the Friends of the Fitchburg Senior Center, you need to do that by November 9th by noon, 270-4290 to make those reservations. All right, that does it for our headlines. A lot of headlines. There's a lot of information in the headlines today, and we'll get those out as said earlier. We'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we'll check in with Fitchburg Fire Department, talking about daylight savings, right? Fall back and make sure that you check those appropriate things like smoke detector, fire detectors. We'll break that down next right here on TF.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today from the Fitchburg Fire Department in person, my friend Adam Dorn. Dorn, how are you doing?
I am well, Jeremy. How are you?
I am good. We haven't sat together in, I don't know, it's probably been 2 years.
It's been a long time.
Year and a half, 2 years.
I'm glad to be back in your studio.
I am glad you're here.
This.
You missed this? I don't know. The last time we were out at the fire department.
that was good, too.
You let me hold one of the tools. So,
yes.
I mean, all I can do is just, you can sit at my set. And it's not even my set. It's my staff. They own this. I just rent it from them. But I digress. We are here to talk about daylight savings time. And a lot of things happen at daylight savings time. Certainly, you fall back. Make sure you turn the clocks backwards. Think fall back, which took me 22 years to figure out, but I'm happy to do that. But, you know, it's a classic time to check those smoke alarm and CO alarms. Well, I want to say CO alarm, you know, the combos, all of those things. You want to check all those things. And since this past month, we've had the fire prevention or fire safety prevention, whatever order you want to say that, and talking about the beeps. It seems like just fitting this year that
it is.
More people are going to check it, I bet.
Yes, I strongly believe that.
Okay, well, I hope you believe that because it's so important. So first and foremost, we're talking about these detectors, and we did some really great stuff last month, which you should check out about smoke alarm and stuff. But recapping that, why? Why do we even have to do it? A lot of them are like plugged in now, like, you know, direct electricity. You know, why do we even have to check them?
Working smoke alarms save lives. It's as simple as it gets. Working smoke alarms save lives. you have very limited time to get out of a building, out of your home, when you do have a fire, and those smoke alarms do give you every second that you possibly can to get out.
It's as simple as that.
It is.
So maybe to not only check the batteries and stuff, all is super important, but what about doing like an actual test with your family during this time? Like, how many people actually take the time to do that and actually listen to the beeps?
Yeah, that is a great point. It is extremely important to make sure that we are testing our smoke detectors, but when we test that, to make sure our families know exactly what that means. One, so that they understand what kind of a sound is going to be made when the smoke detectors are active. Also, what to do when the smoke detector does activate, and where to go. Where is the meeting point? To do all of that, and then to actually put it into practice, so you understand what it's really going to take to make that happen. That's what's really important.
It really is. And I think having a plan, I feel like there's been so much emphasis in getting smoke detectors and carbon monoxide, get them in, and where do you actually have to have them before we even go on to the next piece? Is it every room? Is it every floor? What's the deal?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different for each type. Carbon monoxide detectors, it's one on every level of your home where there's a gas-fired appliance and outside of every sleeping area. So if you have a ranch-style home, a single-story home, you will have carbon monoxide detector in the basement and one outside of your bedroom areas. That's all that's required. Now, if you have a two-story home with a basement, you would need one in the basement for your furnace area, one upstairs if you have sleeping area upstairs, which is most common. And then if you have gas-fired appliances on the main level, such as not furnace, that would be in your basement, but your stove, maybe a fireplace, something like that, you'd need one on your first floor as well.
What about in the garage if you have gas heater out there or something?
You could, being that you're going to have vehicles in there too that are going to produce carbon monoxide and all the other emissions from a vehicle, you're going to get a lot of false readings there. It's going to go off quite a bit because of that. That's why it's more important to be in the home than in the garage.
So to counter that, I put an extra detector because I invested. You'd be proud of me. I invested in detectors that one goes off, they all go off.
Yep.
Because I was very nervous about the one in the basement because it's a tri-level. I think I can hear it, but really I'm pretty sound sleeper. So I don't want to risk it anymore. So we went with that. So I took the one down there and I just set it near the garage because I was lazy and haven't hung it up yet. But it's there. Not a bad deal. But tri-level, same difference?
Same thing, right? So I actually live in a tri-level.
Me too.
I have a carbon monoxide detector up outside of my sleeping area, and then I don't have any gas-fired appliances on the main levels, and then in the basement I have my furnace. So I actually have one in the basement and one outside my sleeping areas.
Fantastic. All right, so going back to what you were saying about doing the testing, having the plan of where to go to, also comes to that action plan of where you're all going to meet after they go off. Part of pulling all of this together. Good idea.
Yes.
Why?
Well, think about this. If the smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors go off and you get out of your house, where are you going to meet? And when you go outside, are you all going to the same place? Because if you don't go to the same place and we pull up and we go, is everyone out? And people are going, I don't know, or I haven't seen them. Now we have to flip gears and we go into more of a rescue mode where we're going to be going in to look for people, if that's the case, or right, whatever the case may be. We're going to have to adjust our tactics to make sure we get people safe first before we do other stuff.
Sounds easy, but yeah, you got to practice. You got to know. You got to know. Makes it a lot easier. And I think it's tying into that. I know we really emphasize looking at the smoke detectors and CO alarms, but I think pulling off a full test during this time it's just a great reset of everything. Also, too, checking your fire extinguishers or any other things. Would you roll that into a daylight savings?
Yeah, I think it's a good time for you to take a look at everything that's going on in your home as it relates to fire safety. Right? So you're checking your smoke detectors, your carbon monoxide detectors, check your fire extinguishers. If you haven't used them, hopefully you've never had to use them, but right, if you've had them there for some time, they may need to be tested or at least moved around a little bit, because if you have a fire extinguisher sitting there for 10 years and you've never moved it, all of that stuff in the fire extinguisher, the extinguishing agent, can settle to the bottom. So if you go to use it after 10, 15 years and it's never been moved around, it may not work because it's all compacted to the bottom. So that's always a good thing. Running your drill in your home as far as how do I get out. It may be even as much as, do you know how to open windows? Do you know how to take screens out? Where do you meet? What's the plan if you are not able to get out the way that you think you're going to get out? What is the other ways that you have out, your secondary means? All of those play into a big factor as to how to get out safely, and that's what we want you to do.
All right, so your top 3 things as we wrap up here for daylight savings. Number 1,
make sure your batteries are in your smoke detectors and your smoke detectors work.
Number 2,
make sure.
Put you on the spot. I love this. I love this.
Right. Number 2, have an escape plan with the meeting place. Not just the escape plan, not just how to get out, but know how to get out and where you're going to meet.
And number 3,
help someone else.
Oh,
right?
There you go.
Because when you become the teacher, you learn so much more about what you need to do. I think if we all were to come together as a community and help the next person down the street, if something ever happens, we know that we've given them at least a little bit of information, a little bit of time. They've put a little bit of thought into making sure they can be safe.
There you go. You don't get any better daylight savings fire safety tips than right here on Talking Fitchburg. I'm just saying. Doran, always a pleasure. Thanks for listening to me babble on, and truly take the time on this daylight savings to check things. If people want to learn more about stuff we're talking about, which it's important to us to share where we find this stuff, but on the website, where can we find your fire safety?
Yep. Go to fitchburgwi.gov/fire. There's a ton of stuff there. There's also the whole Google machine that we probably all know. The
search engine, we say here.
Okay, search engine. But if you look in the search engine, your Google search engines, you will find all sorts of stuff. One of the big places to go is the IAFF.org. You can look under them for the safety information there. That's the International Association of Firefighters. There's just all sorts of stuff. You will not run out of stuff to look at. So.
Yeah. Good time to review that too, just like you mentioned. So, all right, Doran, we'll catch up with you later in the month. Appreciate your time.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy.
Usually I would be laughing at me in the screen right now as I'm doing my closing, but he's right in front of me, so we're gonna take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg. Shh.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today for the Fitchburg Senior Center, it's the Hill, David Hill. Welcome back. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jeremy?
Living the dream. You're covering up BN 40 something over your head there.
Yeah. Well,
they're 42.
That is one of our bingo cards right there. And we're encouraging folks to get back in and play some bingo. Last week, we had a really good turnout of about, I'd say 12 players. Bingo is the second and fourth Thursday at 12:30. And we're just trying to get some of our past regulars back into the swing of things and say, hey, get back up here and play some bingo.
Well, who calls out the bingo? Do they like take turns calling it out, or you have some guest callers? How's that work?
Yeah, Sylvia is our regular bingo caller, but she, as many retirees do, they take vacations, and she is currently in Germany for a month. So we sort of reach out to our volunteers, and usually someone steps up for that. So right now, our new volunteer, Rich, has been calling and doing a great job, and so he'll be here for the next couple of Thursdays, and look forward to that.
Now, have you ever called bingo there, Hill? Like,
oh, yeah.
do you tell some stories like, all right, A31.
Well,
back when I was riding bicycles as a little guy.
Hold on here. I got something for you. I got my lucky Hot Wheel here from when I was a kid. It's great, unfortunately. Yeah, so when I'm calling, I play as well. And so I got my lucky Hot Wheel that I'll bring in there, and yeah, I'll light it up.
Nice. There you go. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, we hope you'll come in and join the senior center for that. November, I was saying on our show this morning that November is always a busy month for you guys. Even though it's a short month, it's always a very busy month. Something that's back this month is the Veterans Day recognition, which you guys do a great job with each and every year. Glad you're putting it together, and I'm sure you're glad to have it back in person this year.
Yeah, we really are. And Jill puts a lot of time into getting this organized with Doris Koster, who has been the leader of our Fitchburg Singers for forever. And so we've got a great program that's going to be on, Veterans Day. And the only difference with this year is that we're going to limit the size of individuals that can come in for the lunch program. So if you're interested in coming to the program and lunch, we highly suggest that you get your reservations in right away for that. So 608-270-4290 is the number to call to get signed up for the lunch. You don't have to register for the program itself, but certainly for the lunch. So November 11th at 11 o'clock is the program, followed by lunch.
Yeah, and you have to have those reservations in by Tuesday, November 9th. So if you're going to come for lunch, that's needs to be in by the 9th. Yeah. All right, next one is who's your person? Advanced care planning with Dr. Wendy.
Yeah, Dr. Wendy is a new physician here in the Fitchburg area. She was highlighted in the Wisconsin State Journal Sunday paper a while back. Great doctor. Folks really think that she does really good work for them as patients. And she's going to be putting on this advanced care planning, which is going to really stimulate the conversation for folks to think about who you want to make those end-of-life decisions for you, if that indeed is your path in life, where you need someone to make those decisions for you. Who is the best person to represent you if you cannot make those decisions for yourself? And so on November 10th at 1 o'clock, Wendy is not only going to be doing a program, but there's also a game involved with this program to help stimulate conversation between the participants. And so it's certainly an important program and a topic of conversation that every family should have. And so if you're interested in that program, either go on our website to register for that, or again, 608-270-4290.
Yeah, so important. And it's probably something that you guys could offer each and every month for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just to keep the conversation going. So, yeah, definitely take the time and good to even just get it going, right? Get into that and just get thinking about it. Right. Talking about painting now. Join us for a fun afternoon of painting, David. What do you got going on here?
Well, the newsletter wasn't even out yet. We had it on our website under the programming page, and boom, we had 10 people sign up for that class right away, filled it. We got in touch with our instructor. She said, well, I think we can add some more participants to that. We'll just spread it out a little bit, add some more tables. And so that is surprisingly very popular. And excited to have that November 30th. This is actually an artist that Jill knows from Stoughton, Sarah Lenz, and she's done this program for us before. She's just a great gal, and we look forward to that. So if you're interested, certainly go out to our website, click on the programs and registration page, and you can just fill out the fillable form and get registered for that program. I believe we have 3 or 4 slots available for that. And if those fill, we're going to be looking at another class in December. So not all is lost if you can't get into that class. So that's November 30th, 12:30 to 2:30. So yeah.
All right. Perfect. David, that's we've already run out of time. It goes that fast each and every time. Maybe we called too many bingo numbers here, so we'll just have to end it on that. Yeah. David, if people want to learn more about the Senior Center or sign up for programs, where can they find you?
Well, you can get onto our city page. That is what would be the address for that?
Fitchburg Fitchburg.wi.gov /Senior Center.
Yeah, then go to the drop-down menu, look for Senior Center, and I highly encourage people to click on the registration for the e-newsletter at the top of our page. You'll get not only the newsletter, but you'll get the news flash, which comes between newsletters each month. So then you'll get in between programs that might not be in the newsletter. So it's really important for you to be aware of everything that's going on by getting onto that e-newsletter subscription list. So highly encourage that. Or you can call me directly if you're having any problems getting on the website. 608-270-4292 is my direct line. Ask for David.
Fantastic. Hill, always a pleasure. Enjoy yourself, and we'll catch you at the next bingo game.
All right. Thanks for inviting me.
You bet. David Hill, Fitchburg Senior Center, said stop on down, visit, and stay up to date with the online newsletter. And yeah, you do want to register and check the programs online. They're moving so fast down there. All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show, I want to thank David Hill from the Fitchburg Senior Center and Adam Dorn for the Fitchburg Fire Department. We'll get both of those videos and those headlines posted up at our social media. And if you're asking, well, where do I find that? Andrew's got the answer. Boom. I can hear him when he presses the button. Facebook and YouTube. Check us out there. Make sure you check us out on Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Go to Cable Cast. Look for that app and download it. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.